Greetings, Cyclopeans. Today I'm going to review a really cool short sci-fi film, and it's called Rakka by the new Oats studio. This is another one of those films that flew in under the radar back in the spring, and it was the first to come in from this new studio. And one of the reasons that Oats is getting so much attention is that it's helmed by Neil Blomkamp, who was responsible for District 9, Elysium, and Chappie, among some other films. I'm a huge fan of District 9, and you can see that industrial, cyberpunky, sci-fi influence in his films. But what I didn't know was that he had a flair for some really unnerving horror, which we'll talk about in a moment. And after a little more research, what I also discovered was that while Blomkamp is getting all the credit for these films, Neil Blomkamp, you don't hear about his writing partner, who just happens to be his wife, Terry Tatchell, Mrs. Blomkamp, and I'm kind of surprised that some of these films actually don't come as credited by the Blomkamps. So I thought that was really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to more from this writing duo. Now, quick note on the studio in their own words. Oats Studio is a new experimental filmmaking lab. The studio is an independent incubator of ideas with the capacity to handle all aspects of production from start to end. Oats Studios works in an open source format with the audience by allowing the fans to interact with the filmmakers and the studio directly, and allowing the fans access to the actual film's assets to then merge with their own creativity. Our goal is to make more original, interesting short film content and eventually full-scale feature films and series from the titles that we create. So let's go back to Rakka. The film takes place in Texas in the year 2020. The basic concept is that Earth has been invaded by aliens that have managed to not only take over but begin terraforming the planet to suit their atmospheric needs. Life has become worse than hell for all the remaining survivors, and a few have managed to hide away and act as a sort of ragtag group of rebels. If they fail, Earth will be doomed. In short, this preview film is pretty good. And not even pretty good, really good. Kind of a cross between Alien, Terminator, and Predator, but super dark and depressing, and with Sigourney Weaver starring to boot. And let me tell you, this film, which is only, by the way, only about 21 minutes long, and it's excellent, but it has to be one of the most disturbing and depressing 21 minutes I've seen in a sci-fi film in a while. In fact, I put this film in the same category as The Road and even Full Metal Jacket for its darkness and near hopelessness, if nothing else. This isn't your standard alien invasion. These creatures, these aliens coming in, are downright sadistic and merciless. It's probably apparent to you that humanity isn't holding up well under the onslaught either. You could also say that Rakka has a little similarity to the Alien Invasion series V. Remember that? It was hot back in the 80s. If you remember, where the aliens arrived and they were well on their way to taking over before the rebellion was formed, except that unlike V, I doubt Rakka's aliens were ever friendly, and we don't see when they arrive. We see they're already there, and things are set up, and things are already really going south for humanity in this film. In conclusion, I give Rakka 5 alien apocalypses out of 5. And as I mentioned before, this is one of several movie projects that have come out from this Oats Studios, and there are a bunch more which you can see. And you can also learn about Oats Studios. We're going to have a link below. There's also a link down there provided to the film itself, because we had covered it on sci-clops.com. And after you watch Rakka, let us know what you think in the comments here. I'm really curious to see what you think of the film. Do you see that the similarity to some of his other stuff that he's done? Would you like to see me review a movie? If so, drop me a line at administrator@sci-clops.com. And I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. Let me take a quick moment to let you know about the expanding Cyclops empire and how you can support it. We're on Minds.com, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course the website at sci-clops.com. We have a new store with some cool low-price t-shirts and stickers too. Please be sure to stop by and give them a look. I'm sorry, they're only available in the U.S. until I can figure out a cheaper way to ship them out of the country. And finally, you can even support us via PayPal link on the homepage. Again, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll have another up shortly. Please don't forget to support us. Please hook up with any of our social media. And in the meantime, keep the geek and have a great week.